If I had to pick a time which was better between now and when I was 4, I would pick the present. The world is not and was not merciful when I was a child, but there were still good memories I experienced that shaped me into who I am. Well, it's not a life learning event of sort, but it is something that I still remember. The memory of playing Sonic on Game Boy at a wedding. The story starts with parents telling me that we are going to a two-night wedding. Being faithful to my parents, I got ready. And by getting ready, I mean I got dressed by Mama Cat. And before leaving, I strapped the Game Boy Advance bag around my shoulder, which had the Game Boy Advance and the Sonic cartridge. I don't quite remember which Sonic game was it, but it starts with a Green Hill Zone and then the water stage and then so on. The bag looked like the one in the picture, but it was for Game Boy Advance, and we went to the event. There I sat on the chair while other kids were running around and started playing Sonic like a customer at a restaurant who was waiting for his food and was finally about to dig in. The battery was used a little bit, but it would still run for close to an hour. I was enjoying my time, and after some time, the battery turned red. That's when two kids noticed I was alone on a chair, and they could hear coins going ka-ching with music playing, so they got curious and sit next to me, and we started talking. I gave them the chance to try playing it, and they started loving it as well. We enjoyed it until the battery ran out, but then and there I came up with a great plan. I told them we will have a lot of time to play together because I will bring spare batteries. I packed the console in my bag and I went to run along with them and eat the wedding food with family. And when it was time to eat, I told Papa Cat I needed batteries and then we went home after that. So, next day, I got ready for night 2, and by getting ready, I mean Mama Cat dressed me like yesterday. I strapped the Game Boy Advance bag, which had the Game Boy Advance, Sonic, and a few more cartridges, which I don't fully remember which one. I think Spyro, Mario, or something else. But this time I also brought spare batteries. We went to the wedding. I met the two kids again. And what do you know? They were the bride or groom's younger sibling. I figured out such a great place where I could play Game Boy with my new friends, which was right behind the sofa where the bride and groom were sitting. What was even better was when I looked at my left, I could see Mama Cat, who was sitting with other women and was socializing with them, so I would know when it was time to leave. What was even a more smarter move from me is that I told Mama Cat I was sitting behind the sofa that was clearly in her vision and to inform me when it was time to leave. Now all that was left to do was comfortably sit behind the sofa and take turns trying to beat Sonic the Hedgehog. It was such an enjoyable night. I looked at my left and Mama Cat was laughing with the other woman, so we continued playing the game. But I was a smart kid who knew that entertainment should not distract you from what is truly important and that I should remind my parents where I am so they won't worry. So I walked towards Mama Cat and informed her that I am indeed behind the sofa playing a game, and she told me not to play for so long, and then I went back. Even more time had passed, and I felt as if I should look once again to my left. You do not want to forget your 4-year-old inside a wedding hall. Now, who would do that, right? 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 There was no one sitting on the chairs. It couldn't be that bad, right? They must have gotten up the chairs and were talking while walking around, so I peeked above the sofa. The wedding hall was empty. I put the Game Boy and cartridge back in the bag, grabbed it, and ran towards the entrance. There I could see Papa Cat calling out my name looking for me, while Mama Cat and Grandpa Cat were waiting. Papa Cat saw me and was relieved, but then angrily asked me where I was. And I wanted to say I told Mama Cat where I was 2 times. And I looked at Mama Cat and she didn't even make eye contact with me. So I got close to her and asked her what happened, and she started talking to the woman next to her. And then Grandpa Cat saw me and told Papa Cat that I was found. And then everyone got in the car and we finally went home.